Hi guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we'll look into a scenario in which the country of Colombia forms an empire in 2025. And the first thing they do is pick on poor old Ecuador. Why Ecuador, you may be asking? Well, Grand Colombia had it. Yes, that'll be my reasoning. But quickly, they advanced down the coast, headed to Quito. And they advanced down around here. And, well, with forces here making this front line really long, they launch a spearhead out of here. But as this is happening, they withdraw from here to put a focus on defending the capital, with Colombia marching in but being pushed back. So they decide to launch a spearhead over here. And then over here. Now, as you can see, they're south of it, and then this area quickly pushes them back here for a bit. As that happens, these lands fall, and then when everyone's gone from it, this happens. And as you can see, they start an offensive down, and now they're on three sides of Quito. And well, this leads to Colombian forces quickly taking over Quito. So let's see the peace treaty. And in the peace treaty, we see full annexation. Yay, Colombia is building its once mighty nation again. And well, let's invade Panama. Imagine having an accurate version of Yakko's World. Like, there should be an accurate version. And well, they advance in, and they land here to get north of Panama City. As from two fronts, Panama City falls, and they continue invading. And now they have their very own Panama Canal. Oh wait, that was supposed to go to America. But you know what? Let's not give Trump what he wants, just for badness. I mean, maybe he deserves it all. He probably deserves it all. Maybe if we can give him Panama. And in exchange, he gives Canada California. Because, let's be honest, California is not American. If we're being for real. Now, let's invade Venezuela. Well, they quickly come in. And they occupy this. Is that useful? Probably not very. With them taking the capital. And they occupy to here. And over to here. They lead to two areas falling. And then eventually the surrender of Venezuela. And in the peace treaty, you may say this is probably a mild treaty. Nope. Full annexation. But Venezuela collapsed. And Guyana breathes a sigh of relief. Little do they know what's coming for them. Yes, little do they know. It wouldn't be very suspenseful if they knew. And let's be honest. Now for the war of expansion. And you may say, what? Why? Because if you're building an empire, you need to get big. Yes. Just don't ask my given empire a name series what it thinks. Because are any of those empires? Yes, definitely. Definitely. Even the one that's just 2 streets big. Not a big deal. And they move in. Red and blue. Just make it whoever you want blue. And red. Maybe just add some orange. And well, quickly, this nation collapses along with Suriname. And French Guiana declared independence at the beginning of this video. Yes, that's right. And now let's see how the other front did. Oh, no. I mean for Peru. And well, they move into the north. And they launch a spearhead here. It stalls out for a bit. But then it starts moving again. And eventually this area surrenders. With Peru starting to try to get a peace treaty. And well, that's exactly what they get. In the peace treaty, they annexed all of Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana, and northern parts of Peru. But Brazil is angered by this. Brazil goes angry. Angry Brazil activated. Can they get to the Pacific Ocean? They'll have to wait and see. And well, they quickly take over Guyana. Yes, the Guianas. Yes, I can call it that. And well, they quickly get across to the Pacific and they take over Quito. And they occupy all of this. And you might think that's all they occupy, and that's crazy. But let's invade the rest. And well, they're on the foot of, guess where? Bogotá. But forces around Bogotá launch an offensive here, as the Columbian counteroffensive has begun. And then another string of forces move through here, leading to an encirclement, and they push back all the way to the border. Another encirclement happens in a lot of forces, and then they get pushed back over in the north. And another encirclement happens. And with this, they start losing ground rapidly as they lose control over Quito and the control to the Pacific. And then another encirclement happens, and this leads to the forces falling out of this front. And then a rebel group manages to do that. And they move forces down here. And well, they manage to liberate the rest. And with this, they start their invasion of Brazil. And well, they quickly advance across the border in all fronts, with them ending up into a stalemate in around the Amazon. And they continue their offensive into Brazil, slowly advancing in. And well, they slowly advance into Brazil from the north, occupying loads of land on their way in. And well, they advance along the coast further, with Brazil pushing them back a bit, but it's to no use. And well, then they occupy here, all of northern Brazil basically, and then they advance down. And by this time, Brazil decides it's time to surrender. And well, now let's look into the peace treaty. Northern Brazil and down the coast pretty far. And well, that's pretty much all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out, and until you subscribe. Bye, guys!